Hello, and welcome to our short tutorial on how to use our new and improved Stockroom Manager. This Stockroom Manager will allow you to manage as many laboratories, stockrooms, and locations inside of each of those stockrooms as you would like, as well as determining your cycle count and if any of those items need to be added to a cart or added to a quote. The first step of doing this, you will need to create a laboratory. So to create a laboratory, you can either simply click on Welcome to Stockroom Manager and click Laboratory Manager, or you can click the Laboratory Manager quick link on the left. As you can see, if this is your first time, there will be no laboratories here. Simply navigate to the top right and click Add, and put in the name of your new lab. I will name this Research Lab. Click Add, and this will create your first laboratory. Now, if you would like to manually add the stockroom names, you can simply click Add and name the stockroom as you would like. So we will name this stockroom Stockroom 1. And I will click Add. Now that I have this stockroom created, I can also add any locations. So these locations could be top shelf, middle shelf, bottom shelf, or any other specific locations inside of your stockroom that you would like to name it. I will just click Add, and I will name this top shelf. Now I have one location created inside of my stockroom, which is named Stockroom 1. And Stockroom 1 is located inside of my laboratory, which is named Research Laboratory. You can also rename any of the stockrooms, the locations, and the laboratories from this page. You can have as many laboratories as you would like, you can have as many stockrooms as you would like, and you can have as many locations under each of those stockrooms as you would like. Another way to add stockrooms and locations inside of a lab is also by clicking on the settings tool and adding them as well as items there. And I will go through that in a little. Now for each lab will have as many stockrooms and as many locations as I just said. Each of these stockrooms and these locations can be imported via an Excel file if you would like. But the laboratories must be added manually by hand by clicking Add and then adding each of the laboratories, and then you can add the stockrooms from there. I will demonstrate this by going inside of the settings of this research lab. Now inside of the settings, you will notice that I have not selected any of the stockrooms. You can change between the stockrooms by clicking the drop down here and selecting the stockroom you would like. You can also change between your different laboratories if you have multiple laboratories created here as well. Now, as there are no existing items here, you can import new items via an Excel file. And we have a template that we would like you to use, and that is how the system reads each item correctly. And after you have downloaded the template, so by simply clicking this button, as you can see, it has downloaded a template Excel file, which I will open. And this is how the Excel file looks. You will put the item ID, which is the item ID on our website, our corresponding U of M, the minimum, the maximum, the stockroom name, and the stockroom location. Now, to go a little further into that Excel file, the minimum and maximum are the minimum and maximums of your stock levels of each of those items. The stockroom is the stockroom that you've selected that you would like for that item, and the location is the location that you've selected for that item. Now, for each of these items, they do not have to have a location, and they do not have to have a stockroom, but they must have minimum and maximum values when importing. You can also add items to this list by clicking the Add Item button and simply searching for an item. So I will search for Samco 202 And once the system finds Samco 202, it'll appear in the drop-down. Simply hover over that item, click on it, which will then allow the button to turn blue. Click Add, and that item will then be added to your list below. And if the item does have multiple U of M's, you can go through each of those U of M's and select which U of M you would like for your stockroom. From here, you can set the minimum value and the maximum value, and you can change the stockroom, or you can add a new stockroom from here. When clicking this, you will click Add New Stockroom if you would like. Type the name of that stockroom and click Add, and that'll add a new stockroom to this location. I will just name this stockroom Biotech. As you can see, a new stockroom was created under the name Biotech. And since I don't have any locations, select is here, showing you that no locations are selected. If you do not need to have any locations selected, you do not have to. But if you would like to add a location for this item, you can by just simply clicking the Add New Location button and typing any location name that you would like and clicking Add. I will leave this item with no location. Now that we have an item added using the Add Item feature, I will now show you how to use the Import feature. I'm going to be importing this list of items based upon the Excel format that I showed you earlier. Once those items are added per the format, simply click the drop-down and click Upload File. I will choose the one that I've created. I will click Open. And now you will please give the system some time to search each of those item IDs and U of M's that you've entered against our database to make sure that each of those items and the UID matches what we have in our database. After all of the items have been imported, the screen will look like so. If you do have more than 10 items on a page, it will show as 2 pages or as many pages as needed. If you would like to show all items, you can click the Load All button and all items will be loaded onto the page. If you would like to go back to the page view so that there show pages on here, you can click the Load Fewer and that will show the pagination as needed. As you can also see now, when I imported these items, these were all new items that were added with new stockrooms and new locations. These stockroom locations did not exist when I added these items. If now you would like to update existing items, as you would like to update any of these items min and max values or their stockrooms and their locations, simply click the drop down under Update Existing Items and click the Export List Items. This will create an Excel file for you that you can open and edit any of the min and max values that you would like for each of these items. Simply click on the Excel file to open the file, and the Excel file will look like this. All of the item IDs are shown here below. And as you can see, all of the item IDs are shown here as they were in your list. This Excel file will match the one that you use to import, except now it will have an inventory ID column. These inventory IDs are matched to the item IDs, and this helps the system correspond each item to the corresponding stockroom that it is located in. So please do not change this column, as it is a reference ID to this item ID. Now, if you would like to change any of the min and max values, you can or the U of M's, you can change those using this Excel file as well. I will just change these and just move all of these up one value. I will save that file. And now, after you've updated the U of M's or if the U of M's can be changed for that item, and or the min and max values for each of those items, simply come here, click the Upload File button, select the file that you just updated, and click Open or double click on that item, whichever you would prefer. and wait for those items to update. As you can see, all of these items have now been updated corresponding to the values that I inputted. If you would like to change any of these items' current stock rooms, you can do so by clicking the drop down and change it to any of the stock rooms located here, as well as add a new stock room. The same can be done for each of the locations of these items. If you would like to see a specific stock room in a specific location, you can do that simply by coming up here to where the lab drop downs are and selecting the specific stock room you would like. I will select biotech. And when you click that, it will navigate you to the biotech stock room. As you can see, I only have one item in here, and so there are no locations to select, as I have no locations created for this one item. I will navigate to the nano stock room, and as you can see, I have multiple locations created for this item, so the location tab will be able to be dropped down. And if you would like to drop down to a specific location, you can do that simply by clicking the drop down and selecting the location you would like. If you would like to change any of those locations as you've narrowed down, you can do so by simply clicking the drop down and changing that location. After you click that location change, give the page 1 second to refresh, and as you can see, that item has moved from the top location to the bottom location, and we can simply see that by clicking the bottom location and see that item was moved to the bottom location. If you would like to see all locations, you can click the drop down and select all locations. This can also be done with the stock rooms if you would like to see all items inside of the lab. So this is showing all of the items inside of this stock room. If you would like to see all the items inside of this current lab, you can simply click the drop down and select all stock rooms. This will show all items inside of this specific lab. We have also added the functionality of sharing each of these labs and or stock rooms with someone else from your company. If you do have any other users that you would like to share this list with, you can simply click the share button up here and select one of those users' emails to share it with. After you click that email and click share, an email will be sent to that user stating that a list has been shared with them and they can now access it. Keep in mind, this list, if shared, if modified by the user who it was shared with, will show as modified on your account as well. So any changes that they make to any of the items will show on your account as well. Once all of the items have been added and the min and max values, stockroom, and locations have been updated corresponding to what you would like, you can now use the cycle count to check if you need stock of any of these items. You can simply do this by going over here to cycle count and clicking on this. If you would like to do the cycle count for all items in this lab, you can leave it as this, or you can select a specific stockroom you would like and drill down to that. And you can also drill down to a location if you would like to do that as well. I will drill all the way down to the location bottom. Now, once you input the stockroom values, I will put 0 as the stock value, and then I will click the tab key on the keyboard. That will take you to the next value. Once you click tab, the system will calculate what the value difference is between your stock value and your min value and your max values, and calculate the corresponding number of items to order in order to get you to your max value. What the system looks for is if this stock value is less than the min value, it will subtract the max value from the current stock value, and that is the quantity to buy. If your current stock value is between your min and your max value, the system will say you do not need to buy any, as you are in between your values. If you are at your min value, the system will calculate the amount of items needed to buy to get you to your max. This can be shown by if I put 1 in here. Since this is 1, I click tab. The system will tell me I need to buy 1 more in order to get me to 2. If I put in more than the max value, for example 3, I click tab. The system will show 0 as I have greater than the max value, so you do not need to buy any. From this page, you can add these items to a quote, or you can add these items to the cart. If you would like to manually change any of these values, for example, you can simply just select the value and input the value you would like, and then click Add to Quote or Add to Cart. If you do not need to use either of these and you would like to export it as a CSV, you can also do that as well, and it'll export all of these columns corresponding to what is being shown. I will add these items to the quote. After adding these items to a quote or adding these items to a cart, you will get a pop-up message showing that it has been added to your quote. And this is a link that will take you directly to the quote. I will open that up in a new tab, or you can simply click on Request Quote. Either one will suffice. Thank you for watching this tutorial on how to use the Lab Manager for our new Stockroom Manager. Thank you for shopping with Midland Scientific, and have a wonderful rest of your day.